Good morning. For the record, I'm Chris Young, Chair of the HTC's SAC. Let's confirm access. Members, please respond when I call your name. Ben Norman.
Here.
Paul Wolf.
Here.
And Mark Catone.
Here.
And for staff, we have Nikki Sheriff.
Here.
This open meeting of the HTC's SAC is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020. That order, posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allow public bodies to convene remotely so long as public access to deliberations is reasonably provided. This meeting is convening via Zoom with video and audio recording available on the town's YouTube channel. We will feature public comment, and materials provided to members for the meeting or provided during the meeting are, unless otherwise noted, available on the town's website. During the meeting, I'll introduce agenda topics and speakers. Please remember to mute your Zoom audio until your name is called. Direct comments and questions through the chair to avoid crosstalk and the taking of minutes easier. We will be conducting votes by roll call, and let's call the meeting to order at 9:02 a.m. on Tuesday, October 1st, 2024. Before we have a motion to approve the agenda, we have to note that the agenda date should be changed to October 1st. So noting that change, do we have a motion to approve our agenda?
Second.
Great. Paul,
Aye.
in favor? Ben?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Great. Okay, we have, nobody's on the line for public comment, so we'll pass on that. Are there any commissioner comments that would like to be made?
I've got one. I was emailed by a HTC member recently asking what our stance or jurisdiction was over all of the wind turbine signs. And I said I'd bring it up in the meeting, but that my understanding was that political signs are outside of our jurisdiction. But I said I would ask at our next meeting. So here I am asking.
That's a good point. I know, Paul, you've brought that up in the past as well.
I would like to just add to that. There's a lot more than just wind turbine signs out there for different causes. I don't think those are political signs. Those are, I'm not sure what they're trying to accomplish except create awareness. So I think we should talk about it.
Yeah, well, Mark, do you have any comments on that?
I don't know. I mean, does it fall under some freedom of speech categorization, which is a little hard to manage? I know. I mean, I don't. I generally agree from the aesthetic that they're cluttersome and certainly not contributing to the landscape. But I am probably slightly challenged by what we can do about them.
I kind of agree. I guess I think on the list of issues that we need to address enforcement wise, it could be a political quagmire to start making waves there. I mean, we've got the African Meeting House signage that's been there for years. There's the Tipping Point signage that comes and goes, and we can certainly bring it up and see what the HTC wants to do about it. But the one thing I was thinking about, and I've actually just pulled up the sign book, is there is in my recollection, I'm trying to figure out where this is in the sign book, but the signs need to be on, political signs need to be on private property, not public property. So the fact that they're at the Rotary, they're, in places that could be considered public property might be a way that we could just ask the DPW or whoever is in charge of keeping public property clean. That could be at least one way to limit it. So if somebody wants to put up a political sign, whether it's for a candidate or an issue, it should be done on their own personal property instead of, at the Rotaries, et cetera. But I want to make sure that that's something the sign book specifically says should be done. I'm trying to find, because there's no political signage in I think it's in an addendum. But good conversation. Let's dig into that a little bit and see what we can do about it. Thanks, Ben, and for bringing that up.
Chris?
Yes, Paul.
Somebody mentioned the African Meeting House. You referring to the truck that's been parked for 6 months in front of it with a sign in the back of the truck?
I am, and you know, that's
I
free
think that's
speech, it's vehicle
legitimate
signage.
cause for complaint because that truck hasn't moved in 6 months. What are we
Yeah.
supposed to do when we see it? I just think,
I know.
I think that's obnoxious, to be honest with you.
Um,
So put that on your list anyway.
I agree. I guess I just want to make sure that we don't end up in a vice of you know,
I know.
political opinion. We've got a lot of work we need to try to get done, and I'd like to pick our battles wisely, I guess is my point. But definitely noted, and I did find under political signs, it's under temporary signage, and it does not specifically say in that section that it needs to be on private property. So we'll have to dig into that a little bit too. Moving back to any other commissioner comments, we'll get to enforcement later. That's on the agenda. Moving on we have 2 sets of minutes to approve from July 9th and August 20th. Did anybody have any comments on those or want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Second.
Thanks, Paul. Ben, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Paul
Aye.
and Mark?
Yeah, aye.
Thanks. I am as well. Okay, and we have Plymouth Sign Company on for our new business item, which is 3-Step Lane, the Veranda House. And it is a revision to the projecting sign application. Would the representative from Plymouth Sign Company like to introduce themselves and tell us what you're applying for? And you are muted if you're talking at the moment. Okay. Well, Nikki, can you just give us, if they're not able to join in, this has been reviewed once before, is that right? And this was a revision?
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is a revision. It was reviewed prior along with the other 2 signs. Predominantly the comments at the last meeting when this was heard was just they needed to see the original approval to make sure that it was approved prior or grandfathered in before even thinking about recommending it for a current approval. So
Got
this
it.
can you see my screen with the?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So this is what was presented at the last meeting. And then I'm just gonna scroll down. The applicant provided the initial previous approval, which was dated back to 2003.
Yeah. Interestingly, I see that Mark and Paul and myself were the 3 members on that review recommending approval. So the only comment I have is the original approval did not have the secondary sign hanging from the oval,
Right.
not
Right.
typically allowed by the guide, not specifically not allowed by the guidelines to have that type of sign. I would say that that's something we need to address in this application. But let's go around the board. We'll go Ben, Paul, Mark for comments.
Yep, so I'm totally
Benny.
satisfied or happy to see the veranda house sign A being reinstalled as previously existing, but I would not be in favor of allowing the secondary sign B to be attached to that.
Okay, thanks, Paul.
I agree with what Ben said.
Got it. Mark?
I agree with what's been said.
Okay. So the representative it looks like we have a representative from Plymouth on the line. Can you hear us? I guess my question is whether the Nantucket Resort Collection is critical somehow to their.
Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hey,
Have you-
sorry, I
have you
didn't
been
know.
able to-
Thank you. I'm sorry. I didn't know how to unmute. So yes, this is Mike from Plymouth Sign Company. How's
Got it.
everybody doing today?
Good, thanks, Mike. Have you heard the
Hello?
comments that we've just made?
Yes, I think that's what we talked about at the last meeting. You wanted me to prove that the sign had been permitted before.
Right, which you've done, the addition of the Nantucket Resort Collection secondary sign, which is not, signs hanging from another sign are not allowed per the guidelines, and that hadn't been previously applied for or approved. So we're just suggesting that the Veranda House sign is appropriate, but not the Nantucket Resort Collection suspended sign. And that's seems to be the way that the board's leaning
Okay.
to recommend this application. So is there any comment you need to make as far as that? I guess the question is, Veranda House sign by itself, is that gonna work
Yeah,
for
well,
you?
they-
Because that's what I think we're
Yeah, well,
about to recommend approval.
Yeah, I understand. They would love to have that, just so they can show that, it shows what their business. They're part of the Nantucket Resort Collection. That's part of their branding. So they would love to have that hanging underneath.
Okay. Well, that probably won't be approved. Just
Okay.
based on the recommendation we're going to send up and the way the guidelines are written.
Okay.
So I guess that'll be for, you and the applicants or the business owners to discuss. If you don't have anything else, we'll look for a motion here.
Yes, I understand. Thank you. Yep. I just
Okay.
wanted to plead my case. Sorry.
Got it. Got it. Anybody want to make a motion?
Make a motion to, or recommend approval with the omission of 9B, I guess, Nantucket Resort Collection, based on the historic materials and the previous approval from 2003.
Second,
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Paul. Ben,
Aye.
you in favor? Paul
aye.
and Mark?
Aye.
Thank you. I am as well. So, Nikki, that's the recommendation we'd like to send up to the board tonight. And Mike, thanks for being on the call and your
Thank
patience
you.
with us getting through
Yeah.
these delayed meetings. Appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate all your help. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye.
All right. Let's see, so we are through new business. We have enforcement as the next step on the agenda. Nikki, you sent out this spreadsheet for everybody to review.
Yes.
Do you want to walk us through it?
Yeah, I just have a couple things to touch on really. For Geronimo's, I'm gonna be proceeding with additional enforcement action because they received my notice and confirmed that they received it, but I did a drive-by last week just to double check and the signs are still up. So I'm gonna be proceeding with additional enforcement action for that one. It's like number 12. And then, well, you guys didn't, this one was brought to my attention just by a member of the public. That was 21 Amelia Drive. They had like multiple signs up. I think it was about 7 signs unapproved. And they have since removed the signs and they'll be coming in to, work with the council to see, what will be approvable and so on for that business. It is a mixed use building with several little shops inside. But he's gonna come in. So once he does that, we'll kind of guide him with the application and so on. And then we have Jack and Charlie. I just sent out that one. And I did see, we sent notices to that one in 2018, I believe. And then we sent another one in 2021. So I'm just sending this one just because I wasn't, you know, the HTC enforcement officer then, so I'm just sending this one just for my records. But I mean, most likely that one will have additional enforcement action in terms of fines, because nothing's changed based on the ones that I've looked at that were sent out previously, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And that's pretty much it. Everything
Excellent, thanks.
that
It's nice to
has, yeah, everything else that has the
see
checkbox, I've reached out to the applicants and they're receptive. They've removed the signs and they'll be coming in to submit an official application.
Question,
great. Oh,
how about the gas station?
That one is all set. I did a drive-by last week. The signs are down. There
Okay,
was a beach supply sign and another neon, and they've removed it.
good, thank you.
So that's good. Yeah. Millie's, same thing. I think they had
thanks,
up
Nick. It's nice to see that.
valet parking signs. I did a drive-by too, I think 2 weeks ago. Those are gone.
Okay,
Great. I have a feeling from just sort of the what I've heard from board members and some of the HTC members that you're probably going to be receiving some more information from us about signs that we feel are possibly in violation. So, does anybody want to bring anything up? I think the policy that Leslie's asked us to use is send anything to me to forward on to Nikki, just so that there's sort of a protocol that's going through, you know, a single source, and I'm happy to forward anything that I get. So anything that you want to inform Nikki about, please send it to me and I'll forward it right away. But since we're in an open meeting and it's on the agenda, does anybody have anything they want to talk about with enforcement?
I have a
Paul?
question. To Nikki, is that working smoothly and quickly?
Sorry, Paul?
Is the description that Chris just gave about the process, is that working smoothly and in a timely fashion?
Yeah, that's working pretty smooth, I would say. I mean, once I get them, if I don't do it that week and maybe the other week, because again, I'm the enforcement officer, so I have to do property violations as well, on top of my other duties. So but I'm trying to, I think we're making really good progress. I'm doing the best I can, yeah.
Well, thank you.
And people, you know, they had been receptive. Apart from that one with the neon sign, they just didn't take it down, even though they confirmed that they received my notice. So that one will just have to go to the next step, unfortunately.
Thanks.
Great.
And Nikki,
thank you for what you're doing.
You're welcome, Paul.
and one thing, Nikki, you had mentioned, it's helpful if we list the address, right? So we're not just giving you a business name, but if anything that comes through, it's helpful to just save that step of research on Nikki's end of what's the address, so she can start, you know, more efficiently.
Good.
So, great. Anything else, guys? This is great to see this spreadsheet. I'm really, really pleased.
Yeah, it's great to see it by the year too. I was just kind of clicking through the years and seeing the different.
Oh, yes.
That's helpful.
Yeah. Kevin's going to be upset he missed this meeting. He's been asking for this for a long time. All right. Thanks, Nikki. Anything else that anybody wants to bring up? Any motions? Maybe the last item on the agenda, for example.
What is that?
Which would be adjournment.
Adjourn.
Thank you. So we have great. Everybody, Mark, you're in favor.
Yes.
Paul,
Aye.
and Ben,
Aye.
I am as well. Nikki, thanks a lot. Thanks, guys.
Oh,
Thanks,
so who
everybody.
made that
sorry.
motion? Was that Ben? Sorry.
Yeah, that was me.
We'll
Okay,
give Ben
and then
and
Paul second.
sure.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
you.
Thank you. All
right,
right.
thanks,
See you
everybody.
guys.
Bye, guys.